Hello and welcome to another Racquet review. I'm Tennisrally and today I will be reviewing the newest head prestige lineup. It's been a while since I've done a review, but I am back again and here is my opinion on the prestige from head. In today's video I will be reviewing 4 versions of the prestige lineup. It's the Pro 18x20, a new Pro 16x19, the Tour and the MP. To start off, the prestige lineup is a classic type of racket. It has been around for a very long time, and it has some classic elements still left in the frame and racket, which tend to be or the main characteristics would be that it's more controlled, it's lower in stiffness, it has more of a squared beam, and since it's controlled it typically has a thinner beam, more dense string pattern, and those elements that typically a controlled racket has. So this year's update, the 2023, they have updated with Auxetic 2. So from the past it was Auxetic. They have updated it to really optimize the feel of the racket. It hasn't really changed how the racket plays and how the playability is, just the feeling and maybe vibrations and so on. So it's not about how the racket plays now, it's very similar to the past generation, but it's definitely a update. First off, we have the Prestige Pro 18x20. It's the most demanding racket in the lineup. It's the most low powered, thinnest beam, highest static weight, densest stringing pattern, and the most classic of them all. It was named Prestige MP in the past, but changed to Pro in the last generation, I believe, which makes sense in the lineup compared to other head rackets. So you can see the specifications on the screen. It's an 18x20, 20mm thick beam, 320 gram unstrung weight, and a 310mm balance, and a 98 square inch head size, and a stiffness of 58, which is very low in today's standard. Typically a stiff racket would be around 65. Babolat ranges all the way up to 72, I believe. I would say for me, which have had a bit of trouble with my wrist and arm and so already at a young age, I would not go higher than 64, 65. Those rackets tend to be a bit stiff, so this Prestige felt really nice on the arm and all the joints in the body, so I really appreciated that aspect. Other than that, it's demanding, as I have said. It doesn't give you much for free. It is a 98 square inch head size, so it's not that demanding in the sweet spot. So it's pretty generous there, but you don't get a lot of spin and power, so you need to generate a lot by yourself, and it's important that you have good technique and really good footwork, so you can get to the ball correctly every shot. So when I play with this and maybe started to be a little bit more tired and so on, it got more and more difficult to play with this racket. But just sitting cross court felt really good, because you don't have to cover a lot of court, and therefore you have more energy for every shot. So I really enjoy this racket in that area, but I would never really use it for myself in a match situation. It's way too demanding, and it's mostly for old school players who hit the ball more flat and get power in that way, or have really good technique and enjoy a really controlled racket. So next up we actually have a new racket in the Prestige lineup, which I never heard before from other sources. I had to ask Head again, which I received this racket from, to try that it was actually true what I was holding in my hand. I didn't believe it at first, and I haven't seen it online to buy, so I'm not sure when they will release the Pro 16x19, but I'm sure it will be soon. First off, it definitely needs some weight. It feels a bit powerless. You don't get any plow through really. I think it needs more swing weight, which I don't know the specification of, but other than that, it's a 16x19. It's the same as the Pro 18x20, so it's a 98 square inch head size, 320 gram unstrung weight, and 310 millimeter balance. So the thing that they have changed is mainly the string pattern, and I would think the swing weight as well, at least in the racket that I received. So I like the idea. I missed this kind of racket because, you know, Wilson have their Blade 16x19 and 18x20, so I think this maybe would is a try to compete with the Blade. I don't think they have really managed with that. The Blade is still a bit better or easier to use. It has more to it. This feels like it has something missing, which I think is the weight. On the other hand, it's really heavy in the static weight already. It's just that the balance is really handle heavy. So I think either they should change up the balance of the racket, or you need to add some weight at the top of the racket to make it have more plow through the ball, because it felt like you didn't get any effect or action on the ball. It just popped out of the string bed and didn't really happen anything to the ball. It felt really light overall, despite the weight of the racket. So thirdly, we have the Prestige Tour, which I would say is my favorite. It's the closest to the racket I'm currently using, which is the V-Core 95. This Prestige Tour is also 95 square inches. It has a 16x19 string pattern, 22 millimeter beam, and a static weight of 315 grams and a balance of 315 millimeters as well. So this racket is also quite demanding to use. The sweet spot is not the biggest. Compared to my Yonex, it's definitely smaller because Yonex have this isometric shape, and this Prestige has more of a classic head shape, which doesn't really support a big sweet spot. But I strung this up at 23 kilos, which I did with all of the rackets. I used the Lynx touch string in most of them, and some of them I play with the factory strings in the rackets, which also felt quite good. So this racket has a bit more power, good plow through. That's what I'm missing with my current racket, so I really enjoy this when playing with the Prestige Tour. This was also called Prestige Pro before, but switched last generation. So it's extremely maneuverable with the 95 square inches in the head size. Good plow through, as I said. Spin potential is extremely good with the 16x19. One thing I had trouble with in the past is that the launch angle could be a bit high. That is the case a little bit with this as well. But now when I'm more experienced as a player, it's easier to change the technique a bit when you hit your shots, and easy to adapt to it, I think. So if you play with this for, let's say, a week, you will definitely adapt to the launch angle if it's any trouble in the beginning. But when I play with this this time compared to 2 years ago, I really enjoyed it more this time. And I can feel that the Auxilic is doing a great job in reducing vibrations. I didn't play with a dampener, which I usually do in these rackets most of the time, and I didn't really think about it actually, so I didn't feel any vibrations. I would use a dampener anyways, because I don't like the sound when hitting a ball without a dampener. But other than that, I think it's doing a great job. It's really stable. I don't think I would need to add any weight on this racket. Maybe slightly at 3 and 9 to make it a bit more stable, since it is still a 95 square inch head size. But I don't see any need to it really. Lastly, we have the Prestige MP, which was called Prestige Tour in the past generation, but now it's the MP. It's a 22mm beam, it's a 99 square inch head size, 310 gram unstrung weight, and a 320mm balance. This racket is more of a twinner style frame. It's still classic because it's still a Prestige. The proportions of the frame can seem a bit odd when you look at it actually, and the way the throat is designed and the head is bigger compared to the other Prestige rackets. In the past I haven't really been impressed by this racket. It doesn't really fit in. Other reviewers have said the same, that it doesn't really fit in the Prestige lineup because it's not really a Prestige. And I can agree on that, but I think with the Auxilic 2 and this new version, I really enjoy this racket actually. I will say that this was the racket I hit with the least, but with the balls I hit, I really felt stable. It felt like I got a lot of control from the 18x19 string pattern that this racket has. But still a lot of power because you have a big head size. It was forgiving. It was extremely stable because it's still 310 grams, which is quite heavy for most players. So I think that this racket could suit a player who maybe wants a bit more control. It's pretty similar to a Prestige Pro, or a Speed Pro in terms of power and control, but it's a more classic style of frame. It has that Prestige look, if that's something that you really are looking for. More of a traditional style racket. The Speed is a bit more modern style. I really think that this racket is a good racket. Maybe not a Prestige as I said, and many others, but I believe that this is a really good racket. Not for everyone because it's still a bit heavy, but it's more forgiving than a traditional Prestige. You get more than enough spin and power with this racket, but still enough control so you don't have any fear of hitting too long. So that is all for this racket review. It's a bit of a longer video this time, but I hope you enjoyed it, that I went through it more thoroughly. And if you have any questions, please ask them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them as fast and as good as possible. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.